Have you ever just stopped and wondered if our schools are missing something? Something fundamental. Not just another subject or some new teaching trend, but a core piece of their very architecture. Well, today we're diving into this really powerful idea from a study called the Pedagogy of Becoming, and it suggests that a lost blueprint, one from ancient wisdom traditions, might just hold the key to fixing our modern educational crises. Let's see what it's all about.
So right at the heart of this work is a pretty provocative claim. This quote here says that school is never, ever neutral. Whether we mean for it to or not, education is always an initiatory process. Think about that. It doesn't just teach us facts and figures. It's actively molding who we are, our sense of right and wrong, and where we fit in the world. And that totally challenges the way most of us think about school as just a place to download information.
And this idea couldn't be more relevant. We all see the headlines, right? The constant crises that seem to be plaguing modern education. But what if all the issues we're constantly fighting over? What if they're just symptoms of a much, much deeper problem?
Okay, so this slide lists some of the fires we're always trying to put out: censorship, book bans, kids just checking out completely. The study argues that these aren't separate problems. They all sprout from the very same root cause, a fundamental flaw in the design and the entire purpose of Western schooling itself.
So what is that flaw?
Well, the source argues that the problem isn't just about what's in the curriculum, but about what school is fundamentally for. It's suggesting that our whole system is built on a very specific, and maybe, just maybe, a very limited set of priorities.
This slide just lays it out so clearly. On the left, you've got the priorities of modern Western schools: getting credentials, standardizing everything, endless tests, and just transferring information. It's a system that's really focused on measurable outcomes. But then, on the right, you have what the author calls initiatory pedagogy. And look at the difference. It prioritizes things like moral formation, identity development. It's a system focused on the whole person.
And all this leads to the source's main conclusion. Our modern education system has a missing developmental architecture. It's like a house built without a foundation. It just doesn't have the structures needed to support the most essential human work there is: building an identity. And this failure, it turns out, hits Black, Indigenous, and other marginalized learners the hardest.
Okay, so if our current blueprint is flawed, where in the world do we find a better one? The study proposes we look to an ancient and time-tested framework, the process of initiation. Now, this isn't about secret rituals or anything like that. It's about a really sophisticated and intentional design for education.
The source defines initiation as a pedagogical technology. Let's just break that down because it's a great phrase. It's a structured, step-by-step process. It's guided by elders or mentors, and it's morally scaffolded, meaning it's specifically designed to support the journey of figuring out who you are, all within a community. It's education with a really deep sense of purpose.
And listen, this is not some new idea. Not at all. This slide traces its legacy all the way back from the mystery schools of ancient Kemet, or Egypt, through the African diaspora, where Black fraternal orders were basically parallel universities, all the way to today's efforts to recover this indigenous wisdom for our own classrooms.
So what does this actually look like in practice? The source points to 4 core principles. First up, sequenced learning, giving students structured developmental stages for growth. Second, symbolic instruction, using the power of stories and metaphors to create meaning that really sticks. Third is elder-guided transformation, this powerful idea that real mentorship is absolutely essential for growth. And finally, communal witness, which recognizes that growing up isn't a solo journey. It has to be supported and celebrated by the whole community.
This all sounds really powerful in theory, right? But the big question is, how does it actually translate to a modern classroom? Well, the study gives us some pretty compelling real-world examples.
See, the author of this study isn't just an academic. As a Black and Indigenous scholar who's gone through multiple initiatory traditions himself, he brings this unique, hands-on perspective. And he actually applied these very principles in his own bilingual ESL classrooms, working with immigrant, refugee, and other historically marginalized students. And the impact? It was pretty significant. The early results are really compelling. When these principles were brought into the classroom, student participation shot up, more kids stuck with the course, and behavioral referrals, they went way down. But crucially, the students themselves reported feeling more confident in who they were and in their own stories. This whole approach seems to be meeting needs that our conventional models just completely overlook.
So, this brings us to the ultimate goal here. This isn't just about a new teaching strategy, it's about fundamentally rethinking the entire purpose of education. Shifting from a model that's all about knowing stuff
to a model that's all about becoming someone.
And just to be super clear, the goal is not to go and recreate ancient secret societies in our schools. The real aim is to recover the indigenous pedagogical intelligence that was at their core, the wisdom about moral development and community responsibility that's been systematically stripped out of modern education.
This idea of education as a process of becoming is just perfectly captured in this metaphor. It's like learning how to write the next chapter of your own story. A good school shouldn't just hand you the rules of grammar in a dictionary. It should help you discover what your unique story is even about, and then give you the confidence to write it boldly.
Ultimately, the pedagogy of becoming is asking us all to rethink everything. So we'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. What if we redesigned our schools around this single, powerful question? What if school wasn't primarily about what you know, but about who you have the potential to become?